Here's the headline. Giving the middle finger is a, quote, God-given right, says Quebec judge.
Stick around, make a sound, there's more Dumb People Town.
Hey, Townies, welcome to another episode of Dumb People Town. Population you.
Population Crowder.
Trae, Crowder.
Population us, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Glad to be back. Yeah, I mean, every time I come here, it feels like homecoming to me.
Right?
I feel like I grew up in Dumb People Town.
I mean, we did too. We grew up in the...
You have made a career on belying your accent. I really do believe that is like the core. And are we being accentist?
I think we are.
I mean,
people are.
Yeah, yes. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing with me. I mean, even like people that don't know anything about me, sometimes I'll just say like a multi-syllabic word. Like
a $3, you mean a $3 word?
Yeah, $3 word. Yeah, $5 word sometimes. For example, multi-syllabic.
I was like, what the?
Just laugh.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
It literally, I was like, is that a word?
I feel like I've
yes,
said
it
this
is.
before with you, but it's always the Billy Wayne Davis joke for me, where he says, when somebody says, "Can I tell you a joke?" and he goes, "I don't know, is it based on my dialect?"
Yeah, what are your assumptions of what you think I want to hear?
Oh, no, it happens all the time.
Does that happen to you?
Oh, all the time. We actually, me and Corey and Drew, the guys that I tour with, and
The well-read
guys who've also been on the show, we actually did a sketch about that, like an internet sketch about that thing, because it was happening to us and still does. We're like, if you're in a bar in some other city, people hear this accent and start talking to you.
They start to come over.
You pretty much know what's coming every time. Like, it just happened to me at a buddy's wedding in Denver a few weeks ago. This white lady at a bar heard me talking, and next thing you know, she's talking about how Black Lives Matter is ruining the downtown area or whatever.
Stop. You're like, not on the same page.
The light bulb that goes off in their head that says he's one of us.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just don't.
This is
Please stop.
okay.
You'll love this.
Yeah, you'll love it.
You'll love it.
You'll love this.
Well, I love that you're here. I think you help break down stupid behavior better than anybody, and that we need you right now. So I'm going to jump into stories. So I think the last time you did it
was Zoom. Was it?
No,
he was in studio.
He was at the studio, yeah.
But Dan had all three stories. We're doing it differently now. We switched over, and now I get a story, Jay gets a story, Dan gets a story. So here we go.
You just get to play.
This is a Randy Dumb People.
It's a Randy special. You ready?
Yeah.
And I love this because it takes place in Quebec, but it could be the South of the United States. It
Well,
could
do you know how many
be.
times we've done Midwestern dialects for something that took place in Australia?
I know.
Oh, yeah,
I wish
dude.
this
England.
We need a good like French Canadian. Good.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause with Australia, I feel like that happens a lot. You know what I mean?
Australia,
Like Australia
the
is
bush or Kentucky.
It's like the South and also the Florida of
World,
Oceania.
that part of the world.
Oceania,
Oceania.
whatever they call
All right.
it.
So you ready? This is sent in by our buddy Jake Groney at Jake Groney, G-R-O-N-I-E.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Sends in a lot of good ones. Here is the again, I don't know. This is one thing that as we go through the story, I don't know if the judge is dumb or the guy, or everything is the way it should be. This is like, I'm going to need your guys' help on this thing. Here's the headline. Giving the middle finger is a, quote, God-given right, says Quebec judge.
I literally thought you were going to end that sentence with "says local man."
Yeah,
No,
right. Yeah,
says Quebec judge.
Says
all
says
of my uncles aren't Quebec judges.
right. I thought you were going to with "says disgraced PE teacher."
Yeah, right.
Says stepdad is being led while being led away by cops.
Says Little League baseball coach in handcuffs.
Yeah,
Right.
for
So giving someone the middle finger is a God-given right that belongs to all Canadians.
Says intoxicated bus driver while kids are filed out of bus.
Says Zamboni driver who just drove into the boards.
Right.
I mean, so I feel
Also,
like
I just love God-given right.
God-given
because
right.
the thing is,
God gave it to her.
Yes,
Right.
as a former Christian that respects people, hey, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you love what you love.
Yep.
But
love the music.
Yeah, but Rich Mullins.
Wait, have you seen the Hillsong documentary?
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what that is?
No.
Hillsong Church was in the.
That dude's awesome. I mean,
That guy's awesome.
He's horrible, but he's awesome.
Anyway.
So, one of the fundamentals is that like you have free will, you have free choice, you choose Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, whatever.
Sure.
Right? So
Man, tell it.
I love
Preach,
when,
Dan,
I
preach.
love when people go, it's a God-given right, because there's so many things that if God set all this up and gave people free will, he's like, I didn't know you guys were going to do that. Like, that actually isn't one of the things. You chose that. I didn't give that one to you.
You guys are making a lot of decisions on your own. So I do believe, and I don't know how much you've traveled up into Canada, Trae, but like I believe that there are, obviously, Canada's not all one thing, but there are like two Canadas. There's Hockey Canada.
Right.
If you've ever watched the amazing
That's
series,
almost all of it.
Shoresy. That is.
You can find that everywhere.
There's Hockey Canada, and then there's like nice like everyone in Canada is so nice. You just don't.
Sure.
Unless you're at a hockey match or a rodeo in Calgary, you don't imagine people just flipping people off in Canada.
Right.
Am I right?
We definitely, that's definitely the stereotype we have of them. I'm like one of the funniest. So I've only been on the western part of Canada.
Okay, Vancouver,
Edmonton, Calgary.
Okay.
I haven't done the eastern part, but like I was there with Corey and Drew. One of the funniest heckles I've heard because of context was in one of those Canadian cities. Drew was on stage talking about how he was a high school quarterback, and some guy in the crowd was like, "Oh yeah, right," or something like that. And Drew was like, which he was a very good high school, but he's like, he's not that tall and whatever else. So he then just starts, tearing into this guy like, I thought Canadians were supposed to be polite. What the fuck? You expect that shit from dumbass Americans, but I come up here and I think there'd be a little decorum, whatever. He does this whole tirade thing. Gets a little bit of laughs or whatever, but he goes on for a minute, and then he stops, and it's super quiet, and then you hear very distinctly the exact same voice from the crowd go, sorry.
He made him a
mocking sorry.
Yeah, and then like that just killed,
Hilarious.
But yeah, you're right. There's also like the ones that
He waited for the right time.
Yeah.
Canadians are funny. I mean, like, Canadians are hilarious.
Yeah.
That is a great, like, timing heckle. Because most hecklers don't
do you
have
think
time.
he meant it, or was he really sorry, or was he
think he
making
meant
a
it.
joke?
I think that like
He
I think
genuinely was
I think he was genuinely sorry, but also was probably self-aware about
That it was
it.
gonna be
what I
very
mean?
funny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Made a
it was.
perfect
So
joke
good.
at the perfect time.
So
All right.
good.
So in his ruling, Quebec court judge Dennis Galisatos.
You did
luck
your
with
best.
that.
That's all you can
tried.
do.
Galia Galiasatos wrote that not only he wrote this in like an opinion.
Well, he obviously loves to flick people off.
Yeah.
Not only was Neil Epstein with two L's, Neil Epstein.
Wait.
Neil
Neall. And I would. Is that mean his
The
name
extra
is-
L is for loser, bitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've known. I mean, I tend to go by Daniel, professionally and all this stuff. But I've met a double N Dan, and I'm like, why do you?
Double N Dan.
Yeah, DANN.
The clip that keeps coming up on my TikTok is the Step Brothers Pam.
Yeah, I mean, it's
it's
wonderful.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's it.
But maybe he's Neall.
Neal.
Neil Epstein. Neil Epstein. Neil Epstein
Jew.
Found him not guilty. The fact that he was arrested and prosecuted at all was bewildering injustice.
He got arrested for
flipping the bird.
I agree with that.
Steve
That's
Austin,
literally all he did was
going stone cold with it.
I don't know. If you do it to a preschool, maybe that's obscene. I don't know.
At least
This is the
trespassing
opinion.
if you don't leave.
This is the opinion
so
of Judge.
preschoolers are dicks. Man.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. Some of them are just they pooping in their own seats and stuff. But the truth is, maybe this guy becomes the judge. Galia Satos becomes the official judge of Dumb People Town, because I'm going to read the opinion. Quote, to be abundantly clear, it is not a crime to give someone the finger, the judge wrote in his February 24th ruling. Flipping the proverbial bird. How much do you love this guy?
Proverbial bird.
I mean, that's the title of this episode.
Flipping the proverbial
bird.
The proverbial bird. Flipping the proverbial bird is a God-given, charter-enshrined right that belongs to every red-blooded Canadian. Have you heard the term red-blooded Canadian, by
I've
the
heard
way?
red-blooded American.
Right, yeah, and we do like export like that brand of our dumbassery to the rest of the world. You know what I mean?
It's one of our greatest exports.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Number one, arguably.
So I thought Canadians were cold-blooded creatures. Am I wrong? Just to live up there?
Just from the air.
Sure, yeah.
It may not be civil. It may not be polite. It may not be gentlemanly. Nevertheless, it does not trigger criminal liability. This is the new judge.
I agree.
Right.
He's right.
Right.
Police arrested Epstein, a teacher.
There we go.
Back to where we started.
That's when I knew it was Dumb People Time, when I heard that. On May 18, 2021, as he returned home from a walk. Earlier in the day, he had run into a neighbor, Michael Nachache. N-A-C-C-A-C-H-E.
Man, you're getting them all today, right?
N-A-C-C-A-C-H-E. How would you do that?
N-A-C-C-A.
Nachache.
I like that bread that's really thin. That's
Nachachia bread?
Yeah.
Little olives in it and stuff like that. All right.
It's so expensive at Erewhon.
Rosemary. All right, so who lived in the same Beaconsfield, Quebec street, and with whom he had had previous conflict.
Beef. Sure. This guy has beef.
Yeah.
Right.
Nachache swore at Epstein and threatened him while holding a power tool in a menacing way. So drill up like, let's go, bitch.
Is this a fellow teacher?
No,
a neighbor.
A neighbor.
Yeah, Nachache is a neighbor.
Yeah.
I think it's Nachache.
I think it's
he
Spanish.
swore at him.
By the way, Joni loves Nachache.
That's right.
There you go.
Swore at him
Timely.
with a power tool. I wish we knew what. I wish we knew what power tool it was. When you want any, I mean, I don't, but like
It's a radial.
any
It's a
guesses?
radial saw. It's a radial
I mean,
saw.
yeah, saw's definitely more threatening.
Oh, I
than
mean,
like
a two-hand.
leaf
What about
blower.
It's a staple gun.
I mean,
That's,
it easily just could have been a wrench.
It says power.
power
tool.
tool.
Power
wrench. Are there any power wrenches?
It's like a torque wrench.
Yeah.
you know.
So there you go. All right. The judge found Epstein replied with 2 middle fingers and kept on walking. So he didn't
That's
even
it?
say anything. Flipped off 2 middle fingers.
Which is like the mid stride.
The double
But
bird.
to hold it this
double
high and
bird,
walk
maybe
by.
all the way to come by.
Casual, stone cold Steve Austin. Oh hell yeah! On your way by.
He probably didn't say a word. Is this the most Canadian fight ever? Some guy's got a power tool. Is like, fuck you, bitch. The other one like actually flips him off and moves on. Nachache alleged that Epstein also made a throat slashing gesture, and he feared that Epstein would try and come back and kill him. So he flipped him off. Double.
You're holding
Well,
the
what
power.
did, I'm about to say, yeah,
And you threatened.
right. The instigator's the dude with
the power tool.
The power tool.
Okay.
Talking shit.
You
and
can't
then,
get arrested for a neck slap.
No, that's
you
like a
get
15-yard penalty. Yeah, right.
That's all that is in a game. That's taunting. That's
Yeah.
15 yards. You can't-
Unsportsmanlike conduct, but it's not an arrestable offense,
Right.
right?
That's
He's
even
not
like-
targeting.
He's not out of the
Wild.
game.
All right, so this is so good that he's going to come in, and the judge did not accept that claim. Wait, again, you're the guy holding the drill. What are you doing? On what basis did he fear that Epstein was a potential murderer? The fact that he goes on quiet walks with his kids?
It says that?
No, I think this is maybe.
What you wrote.
I don't know. Maybe I wrote this.
Op-ed.
The fact that he socialized with other young parents on the street, if that's the no, this is what he wrote. The judge wrote.
Yeah, this
the
is
fact
his-
that he went on quiet walks with his kids. The fact that he socialized with the other young parents on the street. If that is the standard, we should all fear that our neighbors are killers in waiting.
Oh, so this guy's
is
straight
like-
up mocking Power Saw Brother.
He's also
Elias
like having
Santos.
his big moment. This is like McConaughey in A Time to
So
Kill.
now, do you want to hear a little history of
you
the,
see
like the
McConaughey
quarrel?
in A Time to Kill?
Yeah.
McConaughey and all right. So neighboring quarreling. The incident was the culmination of a series of interactions between the two men and members of their families. So now this is a family-wide thing.
We got a feud.
Would you
We
ever
got a
get
feud.
into it with a neighbor? Like,
No.
unless you have to, unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, but
this
like-
person's not going anywhere. They're in your life. They're close enough to you. Ignore everything.
Even
Like,
the flip off feels like you're.
Look,
if he was my friend, I'd be like, "Don't flip your neighbor
no,
off."
our attitude in a comedy show is if people are talking, we just ignore them as much as
Yeah,
possible.
it goes so long.
We wait so long until it's a real problem before we say anything. Otherwise,
Nachache claimed those interactions amounted to months of harassment, but the judge found them to be innocent behavior. To the complaints, the presence of young families outside is a source of scorn and vivid resentment that ultimately spilled over into a criminal complaint against the neighbor. The judge wrote, describing Epstein as a, quote, caring father of 2 young daughters who committed no crime whatsoever.
That's right.
He called it deplorable that the complaints weaponized the criminal justice system in an attempt to exert revenge on an innocent man.
that's right. So, is there a flop rule?
Yeah, this is essentially the neighborhood flop rule.
Like
Yeah,
this guy
so-
should get penalized for.
He just hated that guy's young daughters so much. Is that,
And he's like,
Well, he hated the guy and he hated his
well, the
familial
judge
life.
said like the existence of
the
these little
young-
girls was a source of scorn and resentment or something for
That's
the
right.
other guy.
That's
It's
right.
like,
He hated him. How dare
yeah.
you? How dare you
Always-
procreate?
Always out there playing Red
Oh,
Rover and shit.
Nachache
It
said,
ain't right.
Yeah.
Nachache said he thought Epstein regularly and surreptitiously filmed him and his family. Okay, this guy.
Now he's making shit up.
Now he's got
Now
theories.
he's like, I gotta make things up to make
In
this.
reality, the judge concluded it was Nachache who had been filming Epstein and other neighbors from cameras mounted outside the home which he lived in with his parents and his brother.
No.
Nachache lives with his parents and his brother. We'll get to the ages in a minute. All right. He also
I'm worried about Nachache.
He also had cameras on his. Dan, this will tell you a lot about him and Trae.
Camera on his car,
on his motorcycle, and in his parents' cars.
This guy.
He likes to edit. This guy loves to edit. I'm gonna get let me get the motorcycle shot. Let me get the car shot. I get the garage shot, and we'll do the top.
I mean,
floor.
I'm all for having some cameras around your house. Garage, doorway.
Okay.
But this guy is like the reverse. He's so worried about everybody else. He's watching all of them.
Exactly.
By the way,
yeah.
and not just watching, but instigating stuff too, including his family. In one incident, video submitted as evidence shows Nachache's mother, Martine Nachache, driving dangerously near neighborhood children. She was driving, trying to run them off the road.
Jesus.
About an hour later, Nachache's father, Frank Nachache, deliberately and spitefully did the same. So he's basically
The dad
They
too.
hate kids. They're like,
Look,
yeah.
if your family, if everyone in the neighborhood,
Right.
if you have an issue with everyone in the neighborhood,
The issue
you're
is with
the
you.
issue.
The issue is with you. That's right. That's right.
The ruling says leading to a confrontation with several neighborhood fathers, including Epstein. So the parents are driving close with a camera on their car, close to neighborhood children, basically with the evidence, producing the evidence against them.
Which is perfect dumb people.
perfect dumb
Right,
time that you created and the
Created
evidence
the
that is gonna
problem
put you
and the
away.
I gotta make
evidence.
sure everybody sees how big of a little shit this kid
Right.
is. Let me make sure. Yeah.
So this is a thing
Get
that
in
happens.
close.
to
I
dumb people
would
all the time.
bake these people a cake, a beautiful cake,
Full of
and the
dog
icing
shit.
would say, "Leave the neighborhood."
Right.
Now, can they be mad at you for
But
giving
if
them
you
a
do
cake?
that, it has to be a great cake.
A great cake,
incredible.
It's a
Like,
delicious cake.
Maybe
Lady fingers. I'm talking.
Something.
on top of the cake, around like in a beautiful circle. So Epstein testified that during the episode, Frank Nachache threatened to intentionally hit the children with his car. Michael Nachache claimed in court that Epstein assaulted his parents during that confrontation, but the video,
No shit. You're telling me the guy went off because you were trying to hit kids with
yeah,
your car?
no shit, man.
but the video evidence instead showed Nachache's brother Ari Nachache pushing Epstein, who then walked away in what the
Wait.
judge.
Oh, now we know this whole family.
We
now.
know the parents,
Martina,
Martine, the dad. I don't know his name. Frank.
yeah, Ari.
Ari, and then the
Niall.
other. And no, Niall is Epstein.
Niall Epstein.
Neil.
Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
Neil.
Shit.
Okay, and then Epstein who walked away in what the judge called a remarkable exercise of restraint. This is insane.
The judge.
The ball
loves,
don't lie. The footage don't lie.
the judge is just spitting straight truth.
The judge loves LL Neil.
That's right, LL Neil.
How did LL Neil even end up in front of a judge in the first place?
Because this idiot brought him on charges. Fake charges.
For this, Santos wrote that Martine and Frank Nachache should consider themselves lucky they weren't ticketed for reckless driving. He added that the two Nachache brothers doesn't that sound like the
Nachache Crunch.
they almost killed Bob
Fonzie.
Odenkirk in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
of Better
right.
Call
the
Saul.
Nachache brothers?
Yeah.
Jay, you're talking about from Happy Days.
They
the
almost killed Pinky
Nachache Crunch.
Tuscadero in the
That's what the parents were trying to do. He had the two
Also,
Nachache brothers were
the
fortunate.
Chache Brothers is a phenomenal Tex-Mex restaurant.
I thought it was the prequel to Nacho Libre. All right. Galia Santos wrote in acquitting Epstein that he wished that he could literally, not just figuratively, throw the case out of court. Literally throw it out of court. This was in the specific circumstances of this case, the court is inclined to actually take a file and throw it out the window. Which is the only way to adequately express my bewilderment about the fact that Mr. Epstein was subjected to an arrest and a fulsome criminal prosecution. This happened in Montreal. You guys, we've been to Montreal. Have you been to Montreal?
I have not,
A
actually.
civilized
That's right.
town.
It's a very bouge, bouge,
here's the way I would
bouge.
describe Montreal.
I love it.
We were sitting having dinner in Montreal at like 5:30, and it was a lot of traffic because it was rush hour. Not one honk of a horn.
Yeah, that's
not one.
remarkable in a city.
Civilized.
A civil town.
Yeah.
For this shit to go on. The Montreal Police Service said it's analyzing the decision and declined to comment further. So, like, the police might be at fault here. So now we're going to do this.
Okay.
We're going to guess the ages before we get out of here. Isn't this story incredible? Who do you guys want to do? You want to do Michael Nachache first? Or do you want to do, let's do Epstein last.
Okay.
Let's do Nachache first. How old is Mike?
Just keep calling him LL Neil.
Okay. How old is Michael Nachache? Trae, you can go first. You can go in the middle.
He's living at home. He's got a motorcycle.
I'll go at the end because I have to admit, you're sitting right beside me. I think I may have seen. I saw an age earlier, so you
Okay,
guys go
okay,
first
okay,
because
go
I
ahead.
might be cheating, but I'm not
Okay,
sure
go
if it's
ahead.
that guy's age.
43.
Do you get Nachache is 43? What do you think?
You think this motorcycle son of a bitch
He's
is
43 years
radial
old.
saw? It's 43.
43.
Daniel?
I'm gonna say, oof, I'm gonna go. I'll go Scottie Pippen, 33.
33. Okay, and
Because he's got anger like Scottie.
I thought I saw like 34 or something like that.
Okay.
Ooh, Walter Payton.
all right. So one of you is exactly right.
I'm gonna guess this. But is one of you 1 year off too?
One of you is 1 year. Yeah! Michael Nachache is 34 years old.
But Dan was very close.
Yeah,
so
he was.
there you
Yeah.
go, Dan. Good
I
guess.
just
you were right.
read
In
it.
the,
And you're an
right.
honorable man. So.
All right, so we're going to get out of this story on this. and
Okay.
We'll come back. We'll tell you what we have
LL
going
Neil.
on. How old is LL Neil Epstein?
Now I feel like you should stick to your same number here.
43.
Do you? I mean, do you?
Yeah.
You think he's
Okay.
43?
Or were you going to take
No,
it?
no, no. I feel
got
like
two
you
young
should,
daughters.
I was going to say,
He's got two young
I
daughters.
did not see this guy's age, but yeah. Yeah, it's 2 young daughters, right?
Right, but I mean,
Young
not
daughters
like
could be 7 and
Also,
9.
what's the age at which you either think, "Fuck you, this is enough"? Right? Are you a young dad,
Dude,
or you've lived enough to be like, "I'm not even dealing with you. Get out of
Right.
here."
But then, like where I'm from, if you got, 2 7-year-olds,
You're 27.
28. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, but in Montreal,
Think
it's
about
probably
Montreal.
very. So you already picked 43, right? So I guess I'll go. How close we allowed to be to
As
this?
close as you
matter.
want. You want to
Whatever
box him in? Box him in. It's fine.
45.
Okay. What do you think, Dan?
I'm gonna go 36 years old.
36 years old. So had his maybe
Kids at
there's
30.
They're around
Got a
30.
6 and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And they're
Little
annoying
girls.
the hell out of
College
people.
student.
They're, all right, get your answers in, townies, because one of you is exactly right.
Ooh.
Now, do you want to stay? Do you want to stick on 45?
Yeah.
Do you want to stick on?
You know
30?
the
Yes,
answers.
I believe
okay.
I'm right.
Get your answers in. And I know you didn't see this, but 45 years old.
I feel like that seems suspicious.
That one was earned.
No. You were in that one. You were in that one.
No one's going to believe I didn't say
Yeah,
that.
no, you did not.
The perfect con. You have to. Give,
Yeah, right.
You have to
I
give
tell
up a
you the
little.
right, exactly.
So you can
if
get
I
it.
tell
in
them
the
the
end.
first one, they'll never believe
I know.
that.
You should have just done both. You could have Kevin Pollak did.
You're
Who got
right,
both
yeah.
of them. All right, that is the first story down in the books. We'll come back. We'll tell you what we have going on and find out what Trae's got. And it's Dumb People Time with Trae Crowder. We'll be right back.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Before we will get to, because you have a neighborly story. I think the Nachaches go down in history as like maybe one of the
Dumbest neighbors.
dumbest neighbors ever.
Dumbest whole neighbor family.
Whole
'Cause it's
neighbor-
not just
But
a
you know
dumb
what?
person.
Their family unit, although it's in the wrong, is very strong.
They love each
Yeah,
other.
I mean, like they
think they're right.
They thrive off their hate of their neighbors. We'll talk about this in a second. We should first just let people know that what we have coming up. Again, I'm not sure when this episode is going to drop because we never know. We record a bunch ahead of time, but
Tell these
if
people
it's-
where to go.
Here's where you can go. So supersklars.com has all of our dates and
Yeah.
stuff. We're doing a bunch of taggets. We've got one which is our friends do their stand up, and then we pitch them
So
jokes
much
afterwards on stage. It's so collaborative and fun, really cool. Comedy Store on September 13th. Got great people on that
you
show.
should come do one soon.
You should
love
come do the October one, which would be great. Daniel's already done it. It's fantastic. We're doing Largo on the 18th, and that one's going to be a great show. I mean, Patton and Fortune are on that show, and then 2 very special guests that are huge names that we're not announcing, but just trust us when we tell you it's going to be really good.
What date is that?
That is on September 18th.
That's a
Then on
month.
October 10th, we're doing a show, Sklar Brothers and Friends, at the, it's a night of 1,000 Sklars. We're going to do at the Bourbon Room, which we
Love the Bourbon Room.
Isn't that a great place?
Yeah, I did a tour date there
Yeah.
a while back. It was awesome.
Fun.
Awesome.
I just it feels like there's a balcony in that room, Dan.
I first walked
You
in.
go
there's like
upstairs,
a-
but when you get there, you feel like you went downstairs.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's also like I first walked into like the bar area, and there's like a little area to the left that I
Yes.
thought was like the stage or something. At
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, oh shit, I don't know about that,
This
But
time-
then where the actual stage is,
It's great. Beautiful.
super
It's
sweet.
It's like a 1980s like
Yeah,
HBO
it's
special
cool.
stage.
Oh, it's
That's
really
a great
cool.
way to put it.
It's really cool. So we're going to do that on October 10th, and then another tag on the 18th. We're going to be in Springfield, Missouri, or Fort Collins on the 5th and 6th.
Comedy Fort.
Love Comedy Fort.
So
David
excited about
Rodriguez,
that.
the best.
He's
Great
the
dude.
best.
Shout out David.
Shout out
Love
David, and
Rodriguez.
then we'll
now,
be
he
in
wasn't the
Springfield.
Night Stalker.
No, David
no,
Rodriguez was not. David, that was
Richard
Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Yeah. Right. David's
Close.
the night. He's the night booker.
He's the night booker. He's the night booker, and he gets you. He gets the everybody.
Terrible.
And then at Springfield, Illinois. There's Springfield, Missouri. So much stuff. Supersklars.com. We put all the dates on there. Trae, we should find out like how can people they can follow your podcast and whatnot and then see you.
Yeah. I got the Well Read podcast. I mean, most of my stuff you can find with just my name. Either like you can follow me on social media just using my name, Trae Crowder, on pretty much all of them. Also, my website, Trae Crowder, Trae Crowder. I always have to, point out how it's spelled because it's spelled
it's like
dumbly.
Trae Turner. Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, Trae Crowder. That's where you can find all my tour dates. Not knowing when this is coming out, I don't know, but I'm all over the place throughout the rest of the year and into 2024. So go there, and also. I've got a special called Damn Boy on YouTube.
Nice.
Love it.
You can watch. And I've got a book coming out, a comedic travel guide in September that there's a link on my website for, called Round Here and Over Yonder.
Can I tell you that
Comedic travel guide.
Yeah.
I'm already in.
I'm
like a hillbilly travel guide.
I'm so
already in.
But in this day and age, I will say to our fans, when we are at right now in struggle with the streaming networks and whatnot in terms of like.
Sure.
Getting the pay we deserve. When people put out their stuff independently on YouTube and put out their specials, watch them. Give the power back to the comedians and watch these. And so that, like, I'm sure a lot of people have watched it already, but like, let's get these numbers up for Dumb People Town fans. You'll fall in love with this guy.
I mean, I feel like it's like one of the best ways to do it, like objectively at this point. You know what I mean? Outside of like, just not getting the opportunities from the big gatekeepers, it's like it's better than being on most of them, I think. Because the main thing is you want people to see it.
Yep.
And if a lot of the other providers,
people
they're not going to see it on most of them, other than the big one.
My thing too is I think we're just on this era of like, I'm going to give you access to this hour. Now, obviously, if HBO or somebody, that's a comic stream. If they go, we want to put you on. Yes. But apart from that, I'd rather give that hour, that access to those people and have them come out to shows.
And become a fan of yours.
Yeah, for sure.
Watch his hour.
You'll love it.
And you'll check that out. Trae Crowder.
All right.
The name of the special is
Damn Boy.
Damn Boy.
Love it.
Damn, Jay. Let's get into one.
Okay. Story number 2. This is sent in by Nick Bose at Chef Nick 80.
And you know what? Bose, you pay a little bit more for it, but the
sound
quality
of Bose
is
the
there.
sound quality of his food is
I always
amazing.
use Bose too. Whenever something is, I'm like, this is like what Bose is for speakers, where you're like, it's so expensive, but when somebody has one, you're like, oh, I get it.
I understand.
Yeah, I was always in a more Blau-punked range.
Wow. Oh, my God. That's
Deep
like
cut.
Deep
Yeah.
cut.
What was that?
Stereophile.
Crutchfield?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like huge in middle school or whatever. Like, we all like,
That was like, oh, you're unlocking.
we were
memories.
crazy in that and whatever the magazine was that had like truck mods in it, or like car mod, like the headlight mods and all that stuff.
That was always on top of the East Bay.
East Bay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys remember
the Holy
East Bay?
Triumvirate? Yes, absolutely.
The Holy Triumvirate of magazines.
You just look at East Bay and be like,
for
car and stereo.
that is and it's fine. Everything progresses, but it is a like tactile thing that no child, like your son, your daughters will never
know.
Like being like turning a page and be like, I want that bat.
Yeah.
And you're just looking at it on paper.
So we were at our cousin's place over Labor Day weekend down in Mission Viejo, and they have in their garage, they've like redone the garage, and in the garage is a pool table and a ping pong table.
Love it.
And it was like cooler at night. We opened up the garage doors, and they have a record player with old speakers, like it's an old school, like 70s speakers. And we were just playing records and playing ping pong and pool all night. Like we played all night. It was, and people were hanging out. It was just so much fun. But the sound from these old 70s speakers was so warm and wonderful. It like filled the garage. It was so cool. I just loved it. Like I was like, this feels like us hanging out like in the 1970s.
I loved it.
Before I forget, we were talking in the break about the neighbors from before.
Yes.
Very quickly, like you were saying, I would never start shit with my neighbor. That story made me realize like how much it would suck to have shitty neighbors. Because yesterday, I got mildly annoyed at my neighbor because they gave me too many passion fruits that they grew in there. You know what I mean? Like and it's like they're doing a sweet thing, but I looked at it and I'm like, what
am I
the
gonna do
hell
with
am I
these?
going to do with 85 passion fruits? You know what I mean? Like now I got to figure out how to make jam or whatever. You know what I mean? But like they did a nice thing, and I'm like, this is.
You gave me busy work.
But I can't imagine if they were trying to do vehicular homicide on my children.
Kids off the road.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Totally. That's so great.
So they
much
set down the
worse.
passion fruits and you flipped them off.
It was, and you're like, it's a crime of passion fruit.
There it is.
All right. A GPS mistake took I'm not going to tell you how old this person was, driver to the Canadian border.
What?
Out of Canada.
Where he was arrested with a certain amount of pounds of cannabis.
Okay.
And more than a certain amount of money in his car. Police get.
So why don't you just say a successful
Wait, it was in my car?
entrepreneur.
Do you guys need my social security number? You know this. I don't know if you know this story, but like I was
You know, that was probably, what, 7 years ago?
a long time
8 years ago?
Yeah. So I was with
Randy got scammed.
I got scammed so hard. I was with my daughter on like a field trip, and I get a phone call from a number, and they just keep calling.
So you're a little frazzled.
So I'm a little
Not a
frazzled.
normal
and I'm
day.
like, I'm out walking because we like walk 2 miles to get to the 826 LA, which is this writing thing, and they're going to go do a writing thing. And I finally answer, and they're like, you hear like beeps in the background, so it feels like it's official
Real.
and whatnot.
Right.
And they're like, your social security number has been linked to a car that has blood, drugs, and money in it at the
damn.
Mexican border. And I was like, and I wound up giving these people my bank information. I had to like change everything.
And
I'm
you
like,
realize
Damn,
immediately
dude. Well,
after
that's
you
an
did it.
elaborate one. The only one I've ever like answered, it was just like a dude with a thick foreign accent being like, I'm with IRS. We need social security
nope,
number or
nope.
you will lose everything. And it's like, I don't think you're with the IRS, man. But like trying to...
cocaine car at the border
Right,
with blood
yeah.
in it.
Randy.
I mean,
They got Randy.
how
Yeah.
dumb
you guys
am
watch
I?
Telemarketers yet on HBO?
No, I heard it was
documentary?
insane,
It's
though.
insane. It's about the people who call for the Fraternal Order of Police, and it's just how
It's like
fucked up
it's a
and shady
documentary,
it is.
right? They
Yeah, it's
got,
a
like,
3-part.
footage of these dudes.
Yeah, the Safdie brothers and Danny
Oh, yeah.
McBride
Right.
Oh my God.
produced it. It's
that's
great.
Danny McBride's next series.
It's unreal. You guys should watch it.
I have to watch it.
I
All right.
want to see it.
What happened? What
So,
happened to this successful entrepreneur trying to make his way?
Yeah, this
Pounds
is his
of
thing.
marijuana.
This GPS. All right, an American driver was arrested last week after he took a wrong turn and ended up at the Canadian border with a huge quantity of cannabis and a lot of cash in his car, according to law enforcement.
So this is the ultimate version of, oh shit, I think there's a police drinking checkpoint up here.
Right.
When you're like, can I inconspicuously turn
around,
because
yeah.
I am not drunk at all, but I did have 2 cocktails. You know what I'm
Couple
saying?
days.
Even when you're not drunk,
That's
you're
right.
like, how can I not go into
The
this?
second you turn around, like, whoop.
Even when I've had times where I was not even drinking, and they'll do them in LA, which is the wildest
I
thing to
know.
me.
I've seen 'em.
This doesn't happen in New York or
Yeah, I've
Chicago.
seen 'em. Yeah, I've seen 'em.
On Melrose
I know.
on a like Sunday night or
Yeah,
a
so we're
Wednesday
like,
night,
well, yeah.
they'll do like a drinking checkpoint. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys
And
doing?
they're getting people. They
I mean,
need to-
I guess I like the effort because nobody should be on the road drinking,
No.
you know, when they're impaired. But even when I'm sober, I try to find a way. Like, can I turn
Turn
here without
out.
them going?
Right.
Go get that
You
guy.
feel guilty
So
when
the
you
ultimate
see-
version of that is he's at a fucking
It's at
border.
the border.
checkpoint.
Yeah,
it's like
he
it says
likes
turn left.
wound
but I don't
up
know
at
why
the
I'm
border.
driving 500 miles to go north.
Can you turn around at the border? you
No.
think?
No,
no,
cannot.
you can't.
Once you're in
Because
the system.
all roads are here.
All
You
right.
can't turn against
Royal Canadian Mounted Police said in a news release that Andrew Lee Toppenberg.
His name is Andrew Lee Toppenberg.
And
There's a lot of drugs he hasn't sold, but just you wait.
Just you wait. He was following GPS coordinates that were entered incorrectly when he mistakenly ended up at the border lineup.
I love GPS coordinates.
I
that
know,
he entered
right.
in.
Did
He
he put
wrote
in, like-
Taco Bell.
I was gonna say across the border.
Yeah.
But like wasn't it, there's a
Taco Bell is a run for the border.
There you go.
Hey, okay.
I had Taco Bell the other day.
No, you did
How
not.
you feeling?
I may not be able to
Wait,
get
wait.
a,
Under what circumstance would you have Taco Bell?
my daughter was like, I want fast food. And we're like, have you ever been to Taco Bell? And she said no. And so,
Wait.
do you want to guess my
Your daughter's
order?
never been to Taco Bell?
Never. Do you want to guess my order?
Dorito taco shell taco
With what?
with meat, cheese, and
No lettuce.
That's exactly right. I got 2 Dorito taco shells with meat and cheese.
Dude, I feel like we fucking broke that down.
And my daughter and my wife got Crunchwrap Supremes.
I was gonna guess Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yeah,
sounds like
that's
bullshit.
all-
We got them.
But yeah,
Crunchwrap
those
Supremes.
used to class.
every girl breakfast.
Oh no,
Pizza?
oh yeah. I mean, your daughter at University of Michigan, but within a week will
Will
have
have
had
breakfast
4.
pizza?
No, just the standard Mexican pizza at Taco Bell.
Where are you at on Taco? But obviously you guys are.
Oh, I will
yeah.
crush.
Me
a
too,
Taco
dude.
Bell.
I mean,
I go in.
I-
I have it. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't know, once a month or something, but still, like easily once a month, probably.
So
It's
when
one of
we
those
were
things I feel like
kids-
when I'm on the road doing shows,
Yeah.
there's times where
So
you have
inexpensive.
to eat, and you're like, I will gladly.
It was
I'll
really-
fucking
I was gonna
power
say it
bowl.
I'm in
was really
Springfield,
good.
Missouri after the Late Show or whatever. Like, what am I,
Right.
I'm not going to find
Or
a
go
salad.
to the Blue Room. Now
Yeah,
we're
right.
going there.
The
We're
Blue-
going
yeah,
to talk
that's-
about.
that's
It was
I would
really
actually
good.
say for what things that are probably open, unless it's a diner, Taco Bell's a good option.
It made me think of our youth.
Certainly
I
if they're
literally
doing
thought
power
I.
bowl.
So we used to go out in our youth, and we'd be drunk in our whatever, and
High school.
and we'd show up at Taco Bell,
drunk.
roll out of our buddy Matt Fott's truck, and we would each order 10 tacos
Easily.
5 soft.
Okay, I was
hard,
gonna ask because I
5
only,
and 5.
I only
You
roll
guys
soft.
like innovated the taco box that they came out
Yeah,
with.
no, we each had a taco box.
Oh,
filled with
you
10
had the
tacos.
taco
Each
box,
one,
okay.
each of us had one. They weren't in bags; they were in boxes.
yeah.
And we'd
Eat
sit
them,
down
and then be so drunk the room is spinning later. You throw them back up,
and they look
looks
like it
exactly
did when it went down.
There you go, there you go.
So he this is it, was following GPS coordinates that were entered incorrectly when he mistakenly ended up at the border lineup at Canada's Rainbow Bridge
God, he
border
was
crossing
sweating.
in
Oh.
Niagara Falls, Ontario.
What?
Whoops. That's like, I mean, it's lucky he didn't drive over the falls.
I know.
What
Tom
brings you to Canada? An accident.
Yeah.
a mistake.
Toppenberg of
Coordinates.
Wasn't there a place in St. Louis, Offenburg?
Offenburg.
Offenburg
is very big in Belleville.
Illinois. Toppenberg of Tustin, California, was subject to an inspection because he did not have his
Tustin,
passport
California.
with him. Well, why would he have his passport?
Right, he's not
with him?
trying to go there.
No.
He didn't think he was crossing
You know
the
what?
border.
Look, I don't give a shit about weed
At all.
Right,
Me neither.
and I'm assuming that's what this is.
And
I
it's
think you
money
said
too, right?
everything.
Not a gun.
Money and weed.
I think
Right.
you should be able to get to a border, and if you're like, didn't mean to do this,
Yeah.
can I turn right back around? They should be able to go. Yeah, you can go right back.
Yeah.
like you're not trying because
Right,
I
what do
don't
they
want to
care?
go through, so you
Right.
don't get to check me.
They shouldn't
just
care.
send me in the loop around.
You're not trying to get into their country.
There needs to be a
So-
turnabout.
or the punishment
Yeah,
is
right.
you have to wait till all these cars go through for 7 hours and then you can leave. So you made a mistake and you got to deal with the
What he
mistake.
should have done.
I'd rather get arrested.
when he realized he was in the line.
would too.
He should have turned his car off, got out. A whole bunch of people popped his hood. Oh my God, I don't know. You're gonna get one nice person going back into Canada. Like, what do you want to do? And he's like, you know what? I'm sorry guys, but let's just push it back. Because once I get into Canada, then how I get my car
Dan,
fixed,
that's
it's
so
just
good.
like
Good
push it
idea,
back.
Dan.
And then they're gonna be like, "What are you doing?" You know, and he's like, "Oh, I planned on coming up to you guys about my car. Obviously, I'm not. It's gonna be so long before you.
Hey, I got to get up for a hockey game. What are you doing up there?
That would be.
We got a
now
curling
look, I'm not
tournament.
saying it would go wrong, but to me, that is your best bet. That
your
you have
only
a
hope.
bigger problem that has nothing to do with going to
Dan,
Canada,
this is a genius idea.
and you just need help
It's a
pushing your
genius
car
idea.
back.
Canadian border officials said they found how much?
How many pounds?
How many pounds
of
or
weed.
kilogram of cannabis during their inspection?
Well, what are we going with? How
Let's
do they
do
level
pounds?
this?
We'll do pounds.
Pounds.
How many pounds of cannabis? I have both.
3 pounds.
I was going to say 5.
5
3.
pounds of
Dan,
You know
what
what?
do you
I
think?
believe in this motherfucker. I'm gonna go.
3 pounds is a lot.
I
of
know,
cannabis, dude.
but like,
like
it seems like it's a whole number of.
I agree.
So it's got to
no,
be.
I mean, I think 5.
Here's what I
3.
think. If he is
3.
that far north, he is trying to get. He has a long way to go to distribute. Right. I just don't think you're unloading a lot in the Dakotas. Right. Or
Buffalo.
right.
He's
so
Buffalo.
He's in Buffalo.
Yeah, right. So he had, when you first get your weed, you're going to have the most of it
Right.
because you haven't gotten anywhere with
This
it.
is
That's
his
this all
Canada
theory.
run.
I'm going to say 20 pounds.
20 pounds. That's a trash bag full of weed.
That is.
It's a trash bag
All
full
right,
of
so
weed.
get your answers in at home. You said 20. You said 5.
5. I said 3.
Yeah.
This man was caught with 399
What?
pounds
What?
of cannabis.
What?
Right. So first of all,
What do you think that's valued at? Quick guess. What do you think it's valued at? 399 pounds.
God, this is a
400
horrible
pounds of
question for me.
weed?
I've never bought
I
weed from
don't-
a dealer.
$800,000.
$2 million.
I'll split it. 1.4.
$269,775.
Not bad.
Wait, we're
Yeah,
what?
I have no idea.
to $539,000.
That's.
Okay.
I thought it was way more.
I said
than that.
800,000.
They
He's
also
got
found
almost 400 pounds of weed.
Well, so then they
and it's
also-
only worth.
so they also
300,000.
found cash. So he has, I guess, been selling along the way.
Yeah,
Or
that's right.
buying.
How much cash did they find in his car?
60 grand.
God damn it! Yeah, because I I would have said more, but now knowing what the value is,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Man, don't
less.
you feel
like
the
40.
You say 40 grand? Yeah, I'm going to say
the
78,
weed commodity
78
is
grand.
down? Doesn't that feel
It
like
must be, yeah, right.
78
They
grand.
found $600,000 of
What?
cash in his car.
None of this math is
Get
making
away
sense
from the
to me.
border, dude. Get away from.
So listen, the drugs and the money were located throughout the car.
Of course.
With cannabis in vacuum packed containers.
Yes.
And the cash separated into bundles that were concealed in a safe, suitcase, lockable case, according to the police.
Dude, don't go to the border.
Right, because if you get pulled over, based off what you said, I'm pretty sure they need a warrant for that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're at a border checkpoint, I don't think they need a warrant for anything.
Nope.
Well,
No,
why would you even
right.
be close to a border town if you're holding this much shit in your car?
Like,
Buffalo needs to get high too.
I know,
I agree.
But a lot of business in Buffalo.
If you are at the northern part of anywhere in this country and you are heading east or west, you should never turn north.
No. Exactly.
You're too close to go north.
Look at
it's,
your
it's like
car.
it's like when you're lost in a place like where you're like an ocean resort, and you just always know, well, if we go that way, that's the ocean.
That's
so I
the
know
ocean.
we need to go the opposite way.
right.
He's like, well,
say
that's
it's
Canada, so I'm heading east. I will never turn left.
It's a bridge thing too. Isn't that what you said? A rainbow
yeah, the
bridge,
rainbow
something
bridge
like that.
across,
That should have
yeah.
also felt wrong.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
this-
Exactly.
I feel like I should be crossing a gigantic
bridge.
bridge
Right.
that's close
I
to
would-
Niagara Falls.
I would jump right in the water. The police said the packaging looked like sort of containers drug dealers or money launderers use, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hold on one second. And then they said, which led them to issuing charges against Toppenberg on suspicion of possession and the import of cannabis and possession of more than $5,000, knowing that all parts of the proceeds were obtained by a crime. Toppenberg appeared in Ontario court on Monday and remained in custody. Jeff Walters, director of Niagara District Operations for Canada's Border Service
So
Agency.
he's coming down from Canada into the
CBSA.
United States.
Yeah.
This is what he said in a statement. The CBSA is extremely proud of the diligence shown by our officers. The hard work has a profound impact on continually ensuring public safety at our borders.
We sold the weed, and now we can have
We're having-
the officers' Christmas party.
That's right. So, I mean,
that much weed, it's not, you guys, no disrespect, but a dog 4 towns over smelled that weed.
that's right. They smelt it coming from like 20 cars. They probably checked every car in the lineup.
Yeah,
because
like
of how
this guy screwed everybody's trip in. They're like, we smell weed.
We smell weed for the last mile. So you got to tell us who's got
Yeah,
it.
we knew you were coming. The dogs are going nuts. For
or it's bad weed. In which case, you're like, if we can't smell it, what are you selling, bro?
it might be bad weed if that's the value.
But I bet say the numbers, yeah.
Yeah, that's
maybe it is
right.
bad.
That's right.
Also, is that just like what the like all the, because you can get weed soda and lollipops and stuff.
could be
and
too,
everything,
yeah.
that's
Maybe.
just ruined the market for,
Yeah, like why wouldn't you come across
shady
the border
dealers.
with like 800,000 lollipops and just be like, look,
Well, it seems like it is an odd choice to still be in the weed game specifically in
if
the
you
current
came
era.
across the border with that much stuff, whatever it is, brownies, lollipops,
They would be like, you have an
selling-
intent to sell
something.
and so you got to check it through. This is why you got to declare shit when you're flying from another country back into our country. Like, you don't have the intent to sell. It's a big problem. We're gonna get out of here on this.
Okay.
How old is Andrew Lee Toppenberg?
Andrew Lee Toppenberg.
How old is this cat?
ALT.
Who thought he could take $600,000 and 400
Drug running is a young
pounds of
man's
weed.
game.
It is, but like screwing up your GPS is a papaw's game.
Thank you. That's right. That's a great point. That's a great
Like,
point.
it's a very old
Especially
man.
if
He's
he-
like Clint Eastwood from that movie he made, the
Gran
Mule
Torino.
or whatever.
Trouble
No,
with
Mule, no, the mule.
where
Yeah,
he's like-
yeah. Gran Torino on the
he's
road.
just doing this.
What was that
right.
movie, Trouble with the Google Map? No, no, Trouble with the
That's
Turn.
really good, and because if they took coordinates from him, like that's what he said.
Yeah.
where he's like, I
Yeah,
put in
right.
the wrong coordinates, and I'm like, okay.
So I think he probably is younger, but just because I've said all that, and why not, I'll say he's like 76. Just 'cause I think it's funny.
I'm gonna go with an idiot who is 24 years old.
I think
he's a 24-year-old. God, somebody gives 24 that much weight. But
I think he's 34. But I do think like that the Clint Eastwood movie should have been called The Fork Ball.
Yeah,
Fork ball, like because he's at a
Yeah,
crossroads in his
perfect.
life.
Yes. All right. You said 76.
Yeah. I said,
You said
24.
24, and I said 34.
All right. Get your answers in. Shout at your ham radios. This guy, Andrew Lee Toppenberg, is 60 years.
Oh!
You were right. You were on the right
You were on
track.
the right
Your
path.
GPS, your mental GPS led you to the right place.
Yeah.
So good. So
60
good.
years.
Does
old.
it say, do you know, was he like a veteran of this, or is he a
Or is he, like, new to the
a
weed game?
neophyte? Yeah, at the
Maybe.
age of 60,
Well,
like it's
also-
a Breaking Bad.
Or did
situation.
somebody
like-
else pack his car?
making
Like,
all
all right,
kinds of
Papa,
mistakes.
you're gonna go. You're
Oh
gonna
damn!
go.
Well, that would.
I mean,
yeah,
there's
that'd
also
make
like
it a
the
damn
notion
shame.
that like the highest level CIA agents who are like undercover look like just normal people
Yeah.
because they're the
Yeah,
least
yeah.
suspected, like air marshals or people who just maybe they're like, let's send this dude down because no one will say anything.
Andrew Lee Toppenberg, this is he got divorced from his first wife. This is his second marriage. Married someone much younger than him.
Yeah, and she's like-
who also has like a teenage son. So she's like 34 and has like a
gotta impress
17-year-old
this kid, and you gotta get
17-year-old
down
kid, and he's like
I'm a
trying to be cool, stepdad in the new situation, trying to be cool for the wife who's 40 years younger than him and the kid.
Yeah, there you go.
And now all of a
That's
sudden
it.
he's in a whole
Maybe
mix-up.
that's it. All right, Daniel, give us a taste of what we're going to see in segment 3.
Oh, it's a very unusual house break-in.
I love it. Very unusual house break-in. It's Dumb People Town. Trae Crowder's with us. We'll be right back.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey guys, welcome back to the
We're
show.
back.
Before we get to the final story, Daniel let people know where they can see
guys.
you on like
He's
tour.
got a
much,
bunch of
much
tours.
like the Sklars. I don't know when this is dropping. You should go to DanielVanKirk.com. I'm on the road. I'm hitting the Midwest. I'm hitting the South. I'm hitting the East Coast. I'm headlining Yuckfest in Boston at the end of October, and it's all leading up.
Dude, you're
to,
doing Yuckfest?
Yeah,
dude, you're not going to believe it.
I'm leading up to my special taping on 11/11 at the Lincoln Lodge in Chicago,
That's going to be
Illinois.
A party. That is going to be a party.
Oh, well, it's a double party because the night before I'm headlining Rochelle, Illinois, and the night before that I'm in Louisville. But all that stuff is at DanielVanKirk.com. And when I'm on the road, any of you townies, bring a dumb headline with
Yeah.
you because I open up the show by asking if anybody has a headline or a Pen Pals postcard.
Oh.
So
Love it.
go to DanielVanKirk.com. And you know what? The last thing, can I put out the cork board for our town? You know, when you go into the grocery
Yeah,
store and you're
it's
like,
up there.
yeah, somebody's always getting rid of dirt. I'm like,
Right.
why'd you do
I've
that?
got 70
Yeah.
pounds of dirt.
If anybody out there is a townie who knows WordPress, I need help with my site because when you go to scroll,
Oh, God.
if you're on a mobile, it won't show all my dates.
Damn.
You have to be on a desktop, and there's not a lot of grandparents.
We just did a
buying
story
my-
about a guy who didn't know GPS. Now you don't know WordPress?
Well, I know that my site's not working, so
All
I
I
don't need a
know-
full redesign. I just need somebody who goes, boom,
Help
it
the
works.
scrolling
All
feature.
I know is I tried to use WordPress and I got stopped at the
Tweet
KM.
at Dan. Tweet at Daniel
I'll
Van
pay
Kirk.
you in handshakes. Okay.
All right.
Also, join our Patreon. We have a great
Oh,
Patreon.
it's fun.
I'm going to say that. It's really fun. Another great way to support
We're trying to get to
artists.
the 2 levels of a hot chip challenge.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, let's do
Yeah,
it.
I'll do it at whatever 500, and then
we'll
you guys
do it at 1,000.
If we get 1,000 Patreons.
Plus, it's also a jam and a hang.
Yeah, it's so fun. We love it, and it's only $5 bucks a month?
Yep.
That's it.
Nothing.
That's it.
All right,
Okay.
so come do that. All right, here we go, Daniel. Take us home.
Ready?
Yep.
Sent in by Brew Pounder at Brew Pounder.
Brew Pounder.
Brew Pounder.
This person loves to brew.
Gotta be Milwaukee, right?
That's why I was thinking Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brew Pounder is the Trae Crowder of beer drinking.
Yeah,
Trae
exactly.
Crowder, Brew Pounder.
Oh yeah.
Family says cows broke into their new house in Montana.
Not true. Not true.
You
man.
say not true?
Not true. They didn't break in.
Well,
Okay, the family is making it seem like there's intent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cows are like, let's
They
go.
broke in. They're
Well,
mad at us.
One of the pictures that I'm going to show you at some point in the story does kind of feel like this cow's like, got your ass.
Yeah.
You should have been here, motherfucker. I would
Have you
have
been
gotten
around cows in your
of that-
life?
Yeah, a little bit. They don't tend to do many beans
I have
in my
been
experience, but
all the way in a cow up to my shoulder.
You did that?
Yeah.
To remove a
Really?
child.
We were
baby
in high
cow?
school.
Yeah.
That's Rochelle, baby. They were there. I was doing agriculture and science, and one day they had a cow brought in, and they said, "This is how we artificially inseminate a cow." And the guy went shoulder deep into the back end of a cow, and then he goes, would anybody else like to try it? And I remember even at the age of 17 thinking to myself,
I have to do
you
this.
will never get asked this question again in
You
your
have
life.
to do it.
And much
Yeah.
like when people see people that they really admire, sports athletes and stuff like that, I always go, this could be the time you saw that person or the time you met that person.
Right.
And this could be the time I saw this cow or I intimately met this cow.
You know this
And so
cow.
you put a whole sleeve on and go all the way deep in.
What'd it
So
feel
warm.
like?
so warm, and it also messed me up sexually for like what I'm into. Not animals, but I just want a warm arm when I'm having sex.
Come on.
Terrible. I mean, I can't match that. I did work with a guy right after high school who claimed to have had sexual relations with cows.
Stop
I don't.
Stop it.
That is horrible. I hope you just hit him in the face and
what I
double
don't know,
birded
what
him.
I don't, to be fair to him, first of all, if you saw him and heard him and everything, he just talked like this, and they walked, like
it tracked.
Yeah, like yes, but I was working for the Clay County Highway Department. It was mostly old redneck guys. I was 18 years old. He and they could have all been fucking with
you.
me. Of course,
that is actually more likely. And what I hope
but like
in my
he
heart.
would go into like detail. Like he said, he had one train so good when he opened the gate, she threw her tail up. Sorry, that's what he told me.
But that's such a good line.
Yeah, right.
I have to believe that.
I had her trained so good. I opened up the door, flipped the line on the tail, went up.
Yeah,
and
right.
you're like, I hate to correct you. It's trained so well, but that's fine.
Right.
I totally.
Hey, that's what the line is in 50 Shades of Gray, Black and White. Okay.
Hilarious. So, are there any like geographical tensions with the, because in Montana, it's like they got all these California people moving up there.
That's
like,
right.
are these California people and the cows are pissed off?
Yeah,
too?
the cows
are like
they're trying to
native, they're
keep
tired of this
Montana
shit?
weird.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Keep
Yeah.
Montana.
A Washington family was shocked to discover that bovines moved, they wrote that, into their new house in Montana. A poster on Reddit's "Well, That Sucks," which, if anybody is going for "Am I the Asshole?" I'm pretty sure "Well, That Sucks" will probably have some good dump people time for townies on the ground. "Well, That Sucks" section shared pictures of a new home that was taken over by cattle. Quote, "This big guy and 3 of his friends got into our newly built Montana house and proceeded to live there for how long before being found?" Hit me with it quick.
2 weeks.
How long are these cows?
10 days.
A winter.
For a month.
Oh
Yes.
my God!
Because these are they're Washington. They don't live in Montana.
They live in
Right?
Washington.
It's like
He might be
It's
right.
like the Ozarks when people just squat in houses.
He might be right.
Several commenters said the house might very well need to be gutted and refloored due to the damage and urged the poster to talk to an insurance company.
Yeah.
In a response to people's questions, the poster wrote, 1, house is on my aunt's property. We currently live in Washington, and we're planning to move over at the end of the year.
Sure.
We assumed she was going down, and this is where you start to throw your
throwing the ant under the bus.
She was going down every now and again, which is a casual way of saying, like,
She
fuck
told
you.
us she was going down every now and again, but apparently someone.
Oh, you're right. That comma you just did in your own sentence, we assumed she was going down to check on the house. Comma, guess she wasn't. Cattle guy has a lot of acreage.
So passive aggressive at her.
Cattle guy has a lot of acreage, and looked for his cows. Even filed a report for stolen cattle. He looked in our shed, but not the house because he thought someone was living
This
there.
is like when you hit a hole in one and you're like, I can't find
Where's
it
the ball?
anywhere.
There's no way.
I look in the
Yes.
cup and there it is.
So the cattle guy, picture him. He goes, maybe they're on their property.
He's like, where are they?
Old aunt's property. He even looks in the shed. No, he must have looked, and the cattle had set up some sort of
They ducked.
Home Alone mannequin to be like, well, they're
only humans in here.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
doing human
Yeah.
stuff.
These are like the Chick-fil-A cows.
100%. I got there too.
And spell it wrong.
Quote number 2, I'm sorry. There was a bad storm in town, I think in late April, and we think the cows were looking for coverage. They either got in by nudging a level door or the wind might have blown the door open. Right?
Amazing.
If the wind blew the door open, then the cows must have been like, they want us to. Gaia wants us to go in there.
Right.
Yeah, we knocked.
Yes.
And again, we ask our aunt to make sure all the doors are closed.
And it's apparently
guess she
too
didn't-
hard for our aunt to
guess she
turn the
didn't do it.
door.
Yeah. What he said. He also says number 3, insurance has been contacted, but I'm not sure about outcome because my stepdad is trying to deal with it directly with the cattle guy
This
and
is
work
where
something
the
out.
newspaper's like, okay, we don't need
Yeah,
this.
right.
But why they print it? My stepdad, who really doesn't check his voicemail
Yeah,
that
right.
much. Like,
Right.
You gotta
Also-
understand about my stepdad.
It also means that his stepdad is trying to strong arm the cattle guy into taking responsibility for this when it's like, check your house.
Yeah,
more
check-
than a month.
Look,
And again-
my stepdad, when he gets a couple in him, he starts to get confrontational.
he's-
Why is this in the article?
Right, we got him off Ice House, so he's not as strong a beer anymore, but he's still mad.
Mostly water.
I'm going to become a vegetarian. This is number 5 to please the cow gods, so this will never happen again. You tried a joke and it didn't
Hilarious.
work. It's unclear where the house is located. It'll update you if you learn more. I will show you the picture of these cows.
We'll put them up.
I'll show you the first one. Right. You can see the floor.
I mean,
just a shit show.
Yeah, because they're kicking
It's a
shit
fraternity
everywhere.
house. Yeah.
And then here's the one with the cow that just kind of feels like, what? What do you want?
But this looks like that.
Shit.
It's just shit
Let
on
me
the
see it.
walls.
Everywhere.
I mean, everywhere.
I mean, that house is done.
that house is finished.
It's done,
that
right?
house is
Yeah.
That house is just.
Or you have to live your house like a farm, where anytime anyone comes over, you go, you'll get used to the smell.
Dude, how thrilled those cows must have been.
Oh, the
though.
cows were
You
like-
talk
They were
about like
living
fucking,
life,
it must be my birthday.
This is the
God
greatest
damn.
time ever for
Yeah.
them.
Yes,
What a
this
great-
is like the Hangover when they're in Mike Tyson's suite.
Yeah.
These cows.
We
are
don't
like,
belong in here.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. All right, that's story number
brilliant.
There you
I
go.
love
Story
it.
3 down in the books again. I'm so excited. For
Well
you
Read
and your special.
podcast. Check that out. Check
Yep.
out his special Damn Boy on YouTube. Books coming out soon. That will be called.
Round here and over yonder.
Round
Written
here
by
and
Corey
over.
Ryan Forrester. Me and him.
I
Yeah.
love
I love
Yeah,
it. Just
so
follow him on social media.
TraeCrowder.com.
You'll see it.
TraeCrowder.com. Smart dude. Great comedy. Glad you were here. And oh
Thanks,
shit,
guys.
we got to get back to work, guys.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.